In theaters now is the latest from Bong Joon-ho. This is Mickey 17, a sci-fi comedy starring Robert Pattinson as the titular Mickey 17. So the story goes a little, I'm not going to tell you the whole story, but it goes a little something like this. This is one that the initial trailers that I saw gave a concept of what the film was, and then a follow-up trailer, as they always do, gave away a lot more than the film really needed to, and I wish I had not seen that second trailer, but I will say the film still held a lot of surprises for me. So Bong Joon-ho, you may know from, he's done a lot of things, but a lot of people here know him from Snowpiercer. We'll get back to that. Pattinson is this likable doofus guy in a futuristic world, and he and his friend Steven Yeun, who you'd know from the movie Mayhem, which is a lot of fun, and also Walking Dead. He was Glenn on Walking Dead. They run afoul of some bad guys who they owe money to, and they basically escape to the off-world colonies, so to speak. And by hook and crook, what happens is that Mickey signs up for this program where basically they completely scan and take a sample of his body, and he is used as a human guinea pig, basically. And every time he dies, his consciousness is put into the equivalent of a 3D printed new body. So that's sort of the gimmick of the movie, is that this guy keeps dying in weird ways and then waking up fresh and continuing off into other, situations that are harmful to him. It's unfortunate that the trailers, to do their job, or to do the job the way they think they should, give away a lot of those deaths and a lot of those scenarios. The first trailer gives away a bunch of them, like in rapid succession, and the second trailer gives away even more, and it gives away sort of like a late period plot twist in the film, which is very unfortunate. The whole idea is similar to the film Moonraker in a way. There's a super rich politician businessman who's played by Mark Ruffalo. His wife is Toni Collette, and they're super super upper crust and weird and mannered and perfect teeth and full of themselves, and they're going to take all these people off to this new planet, and they're going to make it habitable, and they're going to make it a planet that they can, mine the resources from and start a whole new world on another planet, which is a concept we've heard before. So multiple Mickeys. Mickey 17 is that 17th version of him that we spend most of the time with in the film. And Steven Yeun, that character is there, who is shown to be kind of an out for himself kind of guy. And while there, Mickey strikes up a relationship with Nasha, who is a female, sort of like a policeman, sort of a marshal, whatever there. She's a badass. She's played by Naomi Ackie, and they have a very robust relationship, shall we say. And I'm not going to get into the plot too much more than that. So the idea is that Pattinson is this simple, doofus, likable guy who always is like a human pincushion. Everything bad happens to him. In the ultimate bad happens to him, because I'm not giving anything away. He gets killed multiple times over the course of this film. Eventually, there is a twist where something happens that makes things a lot more interesting than I expected that they would be. The concept is fun, but for me, I thought this was okay. I didn't love this. Once I got partway through the movie, I wasn't really paying attention to who the director was, and I got partway through the movie, and I was like, this feels a lot like Snowpiercer, which is a movie I did not like. I know a lot of people love Snowpiercer, and there was a movie and there was a TV series, and people just lose their minds over Snowpiercer. I thought Snowpiercer was way over the top, super ham-fisted, grotesquely satirical in just that it's just like, okay, reel it in. I get it. This is something that sometimes I've noticed as a fan of Asian cinema and its filmmakers. Sometimes when an Asian director, or just a director from another country, but from what I've noticed, it's mostly like Hong Kong directors and things like that, when they take the sensibility and the presentation that works for their hometown audiences, so to speak, and they try to do it here, it doesn't quite work, especially when it's comedy. Comedy in Hong Kong films, for the most part, often tended to be much, much broader than we would accept here. And when you take English-speaking actors, American, British, whatever actors, and do that, sometimes it just comes off as really like, reel it in a little bit. That's kind of what I was feeling with this, especially with the Mark Ruffalo and Toni Collette characters. They were just really over the top and really mannered and really a lot. And the point of them being the rich that are, feeding on the backs of the working class and all that is really not a subtle thing in this film. And there's not a lot that's subtle in this movie. If you're in this for sci-fi concepts that's really cool. If you're in it for seeing Pattinson just get taken out in comedic ways repeatedly, there certainly is that. But for me, it just felt too long. It felt too long. The Snowpiercer of this. Now, me saying bad things about Snowpiercer may be what somebody out there needs to hear to say, oh my God, I need to see Mickey 17 because Snowpiercer is one of my favorite movies. And if that's the case, you'll probably like Mickey 17 quite a bit. It's just that I didn't care for Snowpiercer. Like, it had a lot going for it, but what didn't work for me just kind of erased the good. I wouldn't say Mickey 17 went that far for me, but it was that. And I have this thing, you'll hear me say it, and most people think I'm crazy, but I have this thing called Foamericans that drives me crazy. It drives me nuts when I notice that there is a British or Australian actor playing an American and the accent isn't quite right. It's because I've watched a ton of British TV for the longest time, and I know whenever they play American, they have a few good, and some are amazing. Like, some people you would never know, and it's shocking when you find out they're not from here, from wherever they're supposed to be. But there's a certain thing they do with the accents where they go real nasal, or they curl their R's too much, or they do a fake gruff voice, or they say goddamn a lot, or they try to be Southern or whatever. And there's a lot of that in this movie. And the other people are allowed to be whatever nationality they are. And for me, it's just like, let them be whatever they are. Like, if it's going to be an accent that at least to my ear, brings it to attention that they're faking an accent, let's just not do that. It's okay. British people exist in the world. Australian people exist in the world. And this is a film where they're all from different nationalities. So I just didn't see the point in that. So part of it was Pattinson too, the way he talked with this really weird, cartoony nasal voice the whole time. I'm just like, maybe he could just talk normally. Anyway, I got a lot of hangups about a lot of stuff. Your mileage may vary. Very interesting film, certainly good. This was the one that I did see on the Dolby screen near where I am, so it had really good sound and picture. And it is visually very interesting, conceptually very interesting, and really a well-made film. It just was a little too long for me and a little too ham-fisted in some of what it was trying to get across. Your mileage may vary, in theaters now. Mickey 17.